with all the things that are happening out there right now in the banking industry, and we don't really have to get into the weeds on what happened there. But I'm curious what your thoughts are as it pertains to what needs to be done in a lot of these communities. Over the past couple of years, the cost of goods and services have continued to rise and rise and rise. And we heard from board members probably in the 2018 to 2020 timeframe say things along the lines of, oh, well, we're waiting for the economy to cool off before we start that project. And of course, with the COVID relief funds that came in, that created a lot of inflation where the power of the dollar, went down pretty exponentially. And then couple that with the increased cost of insurance, all of the raises in assessments have really gone towards paying premiums instead of being able to fund the deferred maintenance in the community. So for those of you that don't know, Kenna is the construction division manager for ACCU. And is really focused on helping boards understand projects and get it across the finish line. And these are adding some complexities. So can you elaborate on some of what you're going through and what you're seeing in the market?
Yeah, so we're definitely still seeing a lot of boards and even homeowners raising concerns whenever we bring up a large project. We present the costs to the board and the homeowners at their meetings, and a lot of homeowners or board members will raise the concern of, oh, well, if we're looking into this loan now, are the interest rates about to drop? Like I've heard on the news that the interest rates are going to drop in the next year. Why don't we just put it off and keep waiting for the right time?
Okay, perfect. Stop, collaborate, and listen. We're back.
Yes.
Brand new invention. This is not a brand new invention. We've heard this so many times. This is reminiscent of what's been happening in years prior. We're waiting for the market to cool off. Then that didn't happen, and now we're hearing, oh, I heard on the news that interest rates are going to come down. Where are they hearing this? Are we challenging them in that moment? Because I'd love to know where we're hearing that interest rates are going to come down.
So I think that there are so many places and sources that people are getting their information from, whether they're credible or not. Everyone has their go-to outlet for information, news, financial advice, all of that. And it can be really hard to combat those comments because we also don't know. No one can say for certainty what's going to happen with the interest rates, with the economy in general. No one knows. We have all these predictions, and typically those predictions go along with certain groups of people and how they want to persuade and implement their own plans. So they're trying to convince people that this is going to happen or this is not going to happen, so you should make this decision right now.
When you're bringing the deferred maintenance up in a meeting, there are a subset of people that are uninterested in moving forward with repairs to deferred maintenance because they feel like they're not getting the best bang for the buck. Would you say that that's appropriate?
Yes, I agree with that. And I think that it's a combination of either the specific maintenance concern doesn't affect them specifically, whoever's raising the point, so it doesn't feel like an important need to them, and maybe they have a different project that they would love the money to go towards instead. Or it could also be the case of, well, I talked to my own contractor and they said that the project could be done for a fraction of the cost, and there's no reason why the numbers that you're bringing to us are what we should be going with. And so then they're challenging the funding plans, but then they're also challenging the contractors, the approach, whether we're phasing it, whether we're doing all at once. And it really just snowballs into this major conversation where there's so many points that need to be addressed, but the comments still come and they keep coming and get into this situation where you can't even break it down anymore in the middle of the meeting.
I think their heart's on the right spot, right? They feel like there's a level of mistrust when it comes to are we getting the best deal? Are we paying the right amount? And there have been times where contractors overcharge homeowners associations, and that's really what I value about your position with our company, right? I'm just going to come out and say it, is that having somebody with our company that has an additional level of oversight when it comes to margin is super important. So right off the bat, I understand where they're coming from.
I've also been on the other side of that coin where a board member's brother-in-law or a friend of a friend is willing to give a better price on putting a roof in, and it rarely ever goes well when somebody is coming in at really, really cheap prices. I've seen erroneous things that have occurred, and at the same time, I have also seen where people are, taking bribes, taking money from contractors. And I think that is something that is inherent mistrust between the associations and management companies, that things are happening behind the scenes that they're not aware of. I get that. We are constantly trying to combat that all the time. I think there's a right way to do things. If a service is being offered, then a service should be charged for. Historically speaking, most management companies have required that their managers be the ones that are responsible for all of the construction when things come up on their communities. I feel that there are several issues with that. Number one, all the communities in a portfolio are paying their management fee. And if an association A has a fire or a flood or a disaster, maybe wind and hail, something to that effect, that requires a lot of attention, is it fair to all the other homeowners associations that manager's attention is now primarily for one community, leaving the rest of them kind of, waiting for management? I don't think that's fair. And so we have to make sure that we provide somebody, exactly like Kenna's position, to be available when things happen, that we have the proper resources to allocate to those particular situations. But those costs should not be the management company's costs, right? When these projects come up, the time, the oversight, everything that boards are requesting, we as a company are doing our best to deliver, but that comes at a fee, and those fees oftentimes need to be negotiated. My point that I'm trying to make is make sure that you agree on a fee that's appropriate. What tends to happen is in our industry, and I'm not sure that this is going to get published, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but there have been some really bad actors out there for a long time. And I think that's the mistrust that most of these people are feeling. And when these homeowners are coming to the meeting and challenging, why are you paying that much? We should be paying less. There's two sides to that coin. One, they may not be wrong. I think for our company, we know that we hold a certain level of accountability. But I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that it does come down to you pay for what you get. And a lot of times a high cost on a project, although you may be able to find someone who can do the work for less, are they going to have the proper insurance coverage? Are they going to have the correct expertise to get the project done? They might tell you that they can do the work and it might look okay, but then it could fall apart down the line. Or if something does go wrong, are they going to come back and answer to you when you call them back out there to fix their mistakes? And a lot of times a higher cost gives you a lot more security in terms of you get a better partner with your contractor, you get better coverage, you get better work, and you get better communication as well. Because communication goes a long way, and I think that a lot of homeowners get frustrated when a lot of work is going on, but they don't know about it. They don't know that it's coming, they don't know what the plan is, they don't know the schedule. They just see contractors out doing massive projects on their association, and we tend to like to work with the contractors who communicate well to us as the management company so that then we can get the communication out to the homeowners so that everyone knows what's going on. And you don't just see someone putting ladder up on the side of your building wondering what they're doing, because that's no fun for everyone.
Is that not the way we're supposed to do it? Just no communication, just all of a sudden.
Yeah, transparency, communication, it's huge for all these projects. It makes everyone feel way more at ease. It makes the pill easier to swallow, because these projects do cost a lot of money, and we're not trying to say that it's easy to write those checks. It's not, but we're just trying to put in place the right supports that will help everyone get the work that they be done in the best way possible.
I'm going to pull this back around full circle because we did get off topic. Really valuable information, because this is what we're dealing with when we're going to communities and trying to help them get across the finish line. One of the things that you were talking about that I just wanted to represent here is sometimes the cheaper person's desperate.